to the weaponry system. In this game, they are fused together. The level design element of the hazard, of the environmental hazards, and the weaponry system of the game. Well, we've been analyzing it, we've done everything, so let's begin with episode 10. Narrator, do your thing.
Our drivers enter the canyon, and the competition really starts to heat up.
As a reference, for those of you who may be joining us right now, watching this as a YouTube bot in the future, the game is actually the grandeur category of my analysis, which generally involves the story and the soundtrack, which is another thing that we need to analyze. Pretty much it's a reality show. It's pretty much a reality show. Yeah, it looks good like that. It's pretty much a reality show, and in which you are kind of like a stunt racer. In that sense, there's a pretty good exclusive on the Xbox 360 and the PS3 called Stuntman Ignition, which doesn't have the unique power play mechanic that Split Second has, but I would also recommend it. It's exclusive to the Xbox 360 and the PS3. So I know it was a bit of a long summary, but well, people, just as a recap, we've been analyzing the gameplay mechanics and everything, the metaphysical aspect of it, the interaction between the level design and the gameplay mechanics, the proportion of the pure racing mechanics with the power plays, etc. Watch the previous parts of the series in case you're watching this as a YouTube bot, because by now I've already analyzed the core concept of the split second. So let us begin with the analysis for today, people. Let's go. Remember what I said, the Civer edition allows you to control the game. It's the only way to control the game with a wireless joystick on PC. Otherwise, you can use a wired joystick to control the menus, because it's the only section of the game that I still have to control with a keyboard. Or use a wired joystick. With wireless, you have to navigate through the menus with the keyboard, but you can play the races with your joystick. So let us begin, people. Alright, we have plenty of things to analyze today, from the impact of the story on the player, the ambience and the soundtrack, everything that isn't the gameplay and the level design that we've already analyzed. For today, first I wanted to begin with the car handling, with the controls, rather than, well, it would be a portion of the gameplay, but it's definitely not the... I mean, that's a pretty good trap. The inherent gameplay mechanics. I didn't remember that trap from the... I didn't remember that trap from back in the day, back when I played it during the 7th generation. Remember, we are playing on hard difficulty as well, huh? That's a shitty way of beginning our episode season. Oh well. We'll recover, don't worry. This game is like that, remember, it's a kart racer. The first element that I wanted to analyze is precisely, we won't do the instant replays, you can trigger the instant replays, but then the PC, the artificial intelligence takes control of your car. The PC takes control of your car, and because of that... Oh shit. Damn it, they are pretty aggressive today. No, it's like that. It's like that. When you get to the final section of the game, the AI gets more aggressive, which is always amazing. Remember, people, the higher the difficulty, the better. Hey, shortcut! Because it enhances replayability and the psychological sense of progression on the player, as I always say. Oof, that one was close. Someone survived that. The first element that I wanted to analyze is pretty much the handling. The handling plays a big role in this game, more than in any other racing game, I would say, because the controls in this game are pretty much the evasion method for the weaponry system of it. Ah, but you didn't think of it that way. But yes, if you think deeply about it, people, the stat system, the abstract complexity of the stat system, is perfectly merged with the controls of the game, and together they constitute, together they are the defensive system of the game. Because in this game you don't have the magical star power-up of Mario Kart that makes you invincible, or the all of the defensive power-ups of other kart racers. For example, in Mario Kart, the defensive one would be to have kind of like the 3 rotating green shells around you to protect you from shit, I killed myself. to protect you from other power-ups, from other offensive weapons. But see how interesting the analysis is here, which is a direct consequence of the gameplay element that we commented on, some weeks ago, which is the fact that the power play system, I mean this one, this course, it's way too brutal. It's quite difficult to evade precisely the power-ups here, something that didn't happen to me last time. So if you think about it, the control scheme of this game is pretty much a defensive system, because you don't have green shells rotating around your car to protect yourself from other aggressive, other offensive power-up attacks. Right? You don't have the green shells rotating around you, or in the case of scars, for example, I remember there was a damn it, this we can see a difficulty bump right away. No worries, people, no worries. We'll come back and do all of them. We'll do all of them. Perhaps with a different car. I remember that the mod crashed if I changed the chapter like this. Let me go back to the main menu. Anyways, it loads in an instant. So yeah. As I was mentioning, the rotating shells, the rotating green shells in Mario Kart will get to the end of the game. I know. Well, we can. Let me try the other one, the Corvettis Severus, that we've been using. Let me try this one, because I remember we were using this one originally. But this one was faster. Yeah, it has 1 more point of speed. Well, strength doesn't matter a lot, because here you get killed in 1 blow. That's why this track was so dangerous. Let's try Boneyard Rush. Let's try Boneyard Rush. Though the other one had a bit more of resistance, huh? It had a bit more of resistance and 1 more point of speed, which is always good. We'll see, people. As I was mentioning, we don't have access to the blue shells or anything else. So pretty much because of that, there is no defensive system in implemented in split second, apparently. Oh, but there is the evasion system of the game, which is pretty much we'll use the level 3 power play pretty much. Alright, this is an elimination race. It's a knockout race, like we would say in Need for Speed. Oh damn it, quite interesting. Remember, when the timer runs out, the last racer gets eliminated. Here goes. Level 3 power play. That's what I love. That's what I love, people. That one was dangerous. But yeah, as I was mentioning precisely, the fact that we don't have a defensive system implemented in split second contributes to what I've been mentioning, that the control system plays a much bigger role. The arcade racing needs to be combined with the stat system. They both need to be perfectly measured with a high degree of accuracy, because if you think about it, it's the defensive system. The control scheme and the stat system, they are the defensive system of the game. The probability of you evading a power-up in this game, just like in Mario Kart, generally most kart racers solve this issue by simply having defensive power-ups. How do we solve this problem? Let's think from the perspective of the developers. How do we solve this problem? How do we solve this problem? How do we solve this problem of not having defensive power-ups? Oh damn it! I need to get to first place. Otherwise, we'll stay second. Oh. Where is that guy? He ran away? There he is. No? He seems to be out of reach of my power place. Damn it. I don't know. We're first. Sorry. I looked at that wrong. I was not paying attention to it, people. we got first place, right? Yeah, definitely. Pretty good. Then let's get to the next one. The next one, it's a race against the track. It's a track race, people. It's a track race. So the defensive system of this game is the control scheme combined with the stat system, if you think about it, because there are no physical defensive. This one has a bit more of a strength, so it should survive more oil barrels. Here they explode and I need to pass the tracks. So pretty much that's the idea, that the defensive system will look at the offensive portion of the game, which is the fact pretty much that the weaponry system, we need to keep up the combo here. Remember, blue ones will slow you down, red ones will kill you in one blow. Like that shit, like that. Oh, let me restart this one. I wasn't I thought I was going to make it in time. Miscalculation on my part. Let's do it. The defensive system of this game, as you can see, it's the control scheme combined with the stat system. We don't have defensive power-ups, so we don't have the green shells protecting us from physical power-ups. Pretty much in Scars, I remember that there was one power-up I was mentioning precisely that gave you invulnerability for a small period of time. In the case of Mario Kart, you don't get invulnerability, but you get the 3 rotating green shells. In the case of others, you can, for example, well, you can also drop the banana in Mario Kart. I will use Mario Kart as a reference just so you have so we all have a common ground. It's the one that we all played. You can use the banana to counter That one was close. To counter the... They get harder as you progress here, huh? Because you are actually enhancing the combos. The... you have the banana to counter the offensive power-ups. The offensive power-ups, but... I saved this guy. But in the case of a split second, since precisely we don't have physical weapons, the fact that physical weapons are fused with environmental hazards, pretty much when you trigger a power play, you change the level design of the game. We don't have defensive power-ups, and we have no physical way of defending ourselves against a power play, except for the controls. That's why I mentioned the Stuntman Ignition at the beginning, because there's a similarity. Also with the inherited system of burnout that this game has, of crashing. See the detail. This is the worst. These are the races in which you cannot choose the car. They are timed races, and you generally have to repeat them a lot. Since we don't have a defensive system implemented, the combination of the control scheme with the stat system is the defensive system of the game. So let's get into the controls, because first I wanted to address the fact that they play a big role, as you can see, because they are responsible for ensuring of creating the psychological sense of control in the player's mind, of being able to survive the power plays. The control scheme in this game plays a much bigger role than it's much more predominant than most kart racers, because it is the very gameplay element responsible for ensuring... Shit. That didn't work well. Let's try it again without getting crushed. It's the one element responsible, the control scheme, alongside the stat system that we already analyzed, for creating a defensive system, for giving the player, as I've said, the psychological sense of being in control, of having the possibility of escaping the power plays. They psychologically replace the green shells in Mario Kart. They replace psychologically the bananas in Mario Kart. They replace the control scheme and the stat system. They replace the all of the defensive system of traditional kart racers, if you think about it, people. And that's no easy feat, if you think about it, because... Oh, that's close. Yep. Or not. Yeah, these are the worst. These ones concentrate the highest difficulty. Don't worry, we'll do them all. We'll do them all. So, yes, pretty much... It's a huge responsibility, if you think about it, because the control scheme needs to be perfect, because think about it this way, from the perspective of the developers. The second you fuck up the control scheme, you are not only destroying the pure racing mechanics of the game, you are basically destroying the whole defensive system of the weaponry portion of the gameplay mechanics, right? So it's not that simple for this game. It is definitely... That should not have happened. I drifted way too much there. Shit. These ones are kind of like exactly calculated, so I fear this will be quite hard. Good one. Hey, it has a pretty good drift, this car, huh? Yeah, pretty good drift, but it's a bit difficult to master it. That was close. I've seen worse. That was close. But well, as I was mentioning, think about it this way, people. The control scheme in this game plays a much bigger role than most traditional kart racers, because psychologically it will be the one element responsible for ensuring that the player has the same feeling as activating the green shells in Mario Kart, the defensive power-ups, because pretty much the control scheme combined with the stat system will create the defensive system of the game. Think about it this way. In Mario Kart, people, just so we establish a direct comparison, in Blur you have a pretty similar system as precisely as Cars, because you get invulnerability for some seconds, pretty much. And but in Mario Kart you have defensive power-ups. That's the same goes for Crash Team Racing and Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed. Because generally the easiest way of designing a defensive system for your kart racer is to implement defensive power-ups, either some seconds of invulnerability or the bananas and the green shells in Mario Kart, for example, that you can use them defensively. We need to get to third place here. It's a minimum requirement. So let's get to that one. Let's get that one, the one that we tried at the beginning. And if we finish the game today, people, will recover the hour that we didn't do on Tuesday of Sacred 2 by the end of it. So don't worry. Anyways, if we finish the game way too fast, we'll get to Sacred 2. So we can compensate for that hour. In terms of what I was mentioning, of the defensive system of the game, the control scheme in this game has an exponentially bigger responsibility, because it will be the one gameplay element responsible for handling the defensive system of the game. It's the only way to escape the power plays, the control scheme. Now imagine that the control scheme of the game is bad, right? Imagine that we don't have what you've been looking at, what you've been seeing in the previous two parts of the analysis, and all of the things about the gameplay mechanics and pretty much everything. That would have ruined the whole gameplay loop, because the influence of the control scheme as a gameplay element on the whole gameplay loop, it's much bigger in this game. Like that, because of the crash mechanic inherited from Burnout. Because in this game, instead of the formula that Mario Kart implemented of just slowing you down, in this game you have the crash mechanic from Burnout. So if the control scheme, well, but you can see why I failed this course at the beginning. The traps kind of like kill you in one blow. We're in the end game, pretty much at this point. We're in the end game. So yeah, I wouldn't expect less from it. In terms of that, I must say that at the beginning, the difficulty curve of the game was way too easy, but now it's getting a bit harder. The concentration of difficulty spikes pretty much is around the timed races, but with this course specifically and some of the DLC courses, in which precisely the influence of the level design on the gameplay mechanics, because remember that in this game I mentioned that that you don't have physical weapons around the course, but the weaponry system of the game is fused with the environmental hazards, sorry, of the level design. When you have that unique combination of fusing the gameplay mechanic of a weaponry system with the level design element of a hazardous environment, environmental hazards, sorry, of the course, you get a pretty unique system. Think about the direct comparison that we have in Mario Kart. In Mario Kart, you can fall off a cliff. You can, but that's a separated element. That's a dissociated element. Damn it. The rocks also stay in place. That's a dissociated element from the weaponry system of the game. It's completely dissociated if you think about it. So, with all of that considered, with all of that being considered, with all of the shit, yeah, the drifting of this car is not that good. I need to remember that. With all of that considered, with all of the with all of the uniqueness that this combination brings to the gameplay mechanics. Shit. See, you can fall off a cliff. You can directly fall off a cliff. So with all of that uniqueness, when you combine that with what I've been mentioning, with the fact that you need to implement a defensive system to the gameplay mechanics, the end result is that the control scheme of the game plays a much bigger role. It plays a much bigger role because it will be the one gameplay element responsible. It'll be the one gameplay element responsible for ensuring that you can evade the power plays. And the direct consequence of that is that the control scheme needs to be perfectly fleshed out. It needs to be perfectly fleshed out. Like, if the control scheme is not polished, if it isn't polished, the player, it will create a domino effect. The player won't be able to effectively feel in control of trying to evade the power plays, and the direct consequence of that is that the player won't feel not only in control of the handling of the car that you would normally see as the direct consequence of standard racers like Need for Speed, like, I don't know, Forza, like whichever one, the one you like the most, like Blur, for example. But also, not only that, the player will be unable to effectively have a defense against the weaponry system of the game, effectively giving the weaponry system 100% efficiency because of the crash mechanic that the game inherits from Burnout. See how everything is intertwined? See how everything is kind of like perfectly integrated at the end of the day? Because think of it this way, people. Think of it this way. You are not only, as I said, you are not only destroying the handling of the car if you don't get the control scheme down correctly. That one was a huge explosion. Look at that. And there we are. I don't know how they handle the repetition mechanic. Like, the AI takes control of your car briefly. That's amazing. So you're not only destroying that, you're not only fucking up the... Well, that one was unavoidable. You're not only fucking up the... Oops. Shit. You're not only fucking up the handling of the car, which would be the standard consequence in any racing game, but you're also destroying the defensive system of the game. You're destroying the defensive system of the game, which is a huge deal, because the defensive system, as I've said, is a combination of the stat system and the control scheme. And if you do that, then the player won't be able to evade the power plays. And if the player is unable to evade the power plays, then pretty much it's shit. Then pretty much it's third place, damn it. It's an absolute destruction of your weaponry system, of the weaponry system of the game. So that's why the first conclusion that I wanted to arrive to today is precisely that the control scheme of the game plays a much bigger role here. Drift pass, that one is weird to stumble upon. Oh. I think that will give me victory. What, the other ones didn't die? What an amazing soundtrack. Oh, that one was close. See? Third place. Second place. Let's see, I need to get in range of the leader of the pack. I just need to get in range. Let's see. Come on, run. Fast like... well. We were way too late to get first place. Alright. That's a good first try. Definitely I can see the difficulties going higher. Going higher and higher. That's always good, people, remember. Because it enhances replayability and that enhances the psychological sense of progression. Alright, we unlocked the bonus event. Can I retry from this point onwards? Coming up next, one last push, pretty much episode 11.
Next time on Split Second.
We'll go right away. We'll get through the game right away, because pretty much I want to do the analysis next time. It shouldn't take long, besides, because the game hasn't proven to be quite long, which leads me to the second point of analysis that I wanted to do today, which is the replayability aspect of the game. We'll get to it once we finish.
The season
finale. Can you imagine, people? Can you imagine a real reality TV show like this? Probably would be illegal. It would probably be illegal at this point. Oh well. Elite race available. Let's get right away to... Let's try the other one. The other one... I'm torn between the Ryback Cyclone Special and the Corvette Severus. Oh, look at that, we are unlocking new cars. I wonder if they have kind of like a perfect car. Eraser, what's the point of having a perfect car? Well, in Scars you had a perfect car. Hey, what about this one? Ryback Vulcan. Isn't it the one that we just unlocked? I know, but this one has more acceleration. Yeah, you pretty much can't... What's the difference between... Wait, hang on a second. This one, 2 and 3. 2 and 3, it's the same. This one is a better version of the other one, of the Ryback Vulcan, the Ryback Cyclone Special. Yeah, that extra strength and drifting. Yeah, well, just because of tradition, let's stick to the Corvette Civer's. Like, it has proven to be the most agile option available. Like, 100%. So, getting to the second element that I wanted to analyze today, people. The graphics, before we get into the replayability. The replayability will be the third one. I know I said the second one, the third one, because I want to do it once we finish the game. Once we've seen all of the campaign content. The graphics. Well, in terms of the graphics, as you might deduce by now, it's one of the strongest points of the game. Why? Because it has a huge influence. I mentioned this previously. The influence of the graphics, of the special effects, precisely, out of all elements, of the graphical effects on the gameplay mechanics are pretty well integrated in this game, because just like when in Mario Kart the squid ink gets on your screen and it blocks your field of vision. Well, pay attention to how at some point I've highlighted this in the previous section of the analysis, but it's worth mentioning it again today when talking about the graphics. It's a pretty weird relationship that you don't see every day in a lot of games. That the influence of the graphical effects on the gameplay mechanics, it has a high degree of integration in the case of this game, probably higher than in other kart racers. What do you mean by this, Eraser? The integration of the graphical effects with the gameplay mechanics? You usually don't analyze that. No, we usually don't analyze that because it's a weird relationship to stumble upon. Because pretty much, generally there isn't an influence like that. Shit, it was a knockout race. Pretty much nothing I could do, huh? That was unavoidable. That explosion was perfectly timed by the AI. The influence of the graphical effects on the gameplay mechanics in this game, they're perfectly integrated. Why? Because we have to retry this one. Because it blocks the field, the range of vision of the player. When the nuclear plants go down and we get all of that dust on the screen, that 2D dust on the screen, that special effect, just like the squid ink in Mario Kart. Look at how good the influence is replicated, the experience is replicated. You cannot see properly, and the same goes for a lot of the explosions that the game has. For example, when we activate some of the power plays, for example, look at that smoke. For example, I was far away and it didn't affect me, but look at this, for example. That trembling, that graphical effect plays a big role, because remember, we don't have the blue shell in this game, so 100% degree of efficiency when triggering a power-up, in this case they are the power plays, is not warranted. It's not like the gameplay system in Mario Kart. It's metaphysically, objectively different, because the power plays don't have 100% degree of efficiency, and that completely changes the gameplay mechanics, because the influence. Look at the graphics here. Look at all of that. Look at all of that. See how instant the reaction needed to be to avoid that. And it depends on the track. It depends on your proximity, on your physical proximity. This is another interesting thing, the notion of a space that the game has. Because according to your physical proximity to the point of the power play, to the point of impact of the power play, you will get different graphical effects on the screen. See how interesting, how well integrated, the degree of efficiency of the integration of the graphical effects on the gameplay mechanics. Just like I mentioned, the level design on the gameplay mechanics, it's amazing, because we have the, well, I bet you'll see my point here. For example, did you see that explosion? Did you notice that for a second, if you're watching this as a YouTuber in the future, for a second, we couldn't see anything because of that explosion? That is brilliant, because it blocks the range of vision of the player. I know that reviewers nowadays don't pay a lot of attention to all of these subtle details, but they are the ones, ironically, they are the ones responsible for enhancing the gameplay mechanics. Why? Because imagine that we don't have the squid in Mario Kart. Imagine we don't have these, for example here, there are moments in which you can barely see through the screen. Right? You can barely see through the screen. And the direct consequence of that is... yeah, the drifting of this car is much better. Danger, what? This has to be a joke. That one was a steal, people. That one was a steal. But well, I think I made my point. Anyway, second place is more than enough to qualify. Then we'll get gold in all of them. The influence of the graphical effects on the gameplay mechanics, it's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing, because since we don't have 100% efficiency like the blue shell in Mario Kart, the game finds other ways to encourage the player crashing, to create the situation, the situational gameplay mechanic of crashing by the player, for example. So it's absolutely astounding, because if you think, well, that one was unfair, what the fuck happened there? Because precisely there we could see a perfect influence of the gameplay mechanics on the level design, the other way around, because the other car could push me, and the level design had that edge prepared. It had that edge prepared to ensure that I would crash. So pretty well done, if you ask me. It's something that I always highlight. The degree of efficiency in terms of the integration between elements, it's what basically defines how solid, how robust the gameplay system of a game is. Because if you think about it, as I've said, the graphical effects play a big role in this game. Besides, let's not just look at the let's just not look at the textures and the resolution and the graphical quality, which is amazing in this game. Let's look at the what I said. Let's look at the graphical effects, the explosions, the dust, everything. If you pay attention to all of that, you will realize that it plays a much bigger role, because as I've said, sometimes you cannot see anything as a direct consequence of those graphical effects. As a direct consequence of those graphical effects, people. Pretty much. Yeah, the drifting of this car is pretty much the best in all of the game. That's what makes it so good. So it's incredible how the handling... This car is pretty much the... Well, that one was unavoidable. This car is pretty much the perfect example, the perfect handling as far as I can tell. But As I was mentioning, besides having perfect bloom, perfect textures, amazing, the game looks modern, and it was released back in 2010. So imagine how amazing the textures must have been back in the day. And something that I wanted to highlight in terms of the graphics, besides this influence of the graphical effects on the gameplay mechanics, which is the most brilliant aspect of it, I wanted to highlight the fact that back in the day when we used to play these games, when I played this game was on the PS3, back during the 7th generation. Let's hope the plane doesn't come crashing down on us. A plane can come crashing down here. Damn it. I ran out of power plays and they could use a shortcut here. Careful. Besides having the perfect bloom and amazing graphical effects with the explosions and everything, and having that incredible influence of the graphical effects on the gameplay mechanics, which is the most brilliant aspect of it. The textures, the sheer textures are amazing. Back in the day, remember if you played this game, people, back in the day, remember that we used to play these games from far away from the screen, because this is mostly a couch game. It was mostly advertised and played on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and consider that back in the day, precisely, we played these games, you can still do it, sitting on your couch, in your living room, and as a direct consequence of that, for this one we'll use the other one because it has more strength, and consider that when you do that, the pixel per inch, the same thing that I mentioned when I did the Ultimate PS Vita showcase, the pixel per inch when you play far away from your screen, the pixel per inch density, it's different. It's different. For example, I'm playing it like this, and the textures granted, we are also playing the PC version on Ultra, but basically the idea is that the pixel per inch density is completely different when playing it like this, like we're playing it now, because we are close to the screen with ultra textures, but also good one with ultra textures, but it's a similar effect that what happens if you play a Wii game on a PC emulator. Wii games have an amazing texture quality, amazing graphical effect quality, sorry, not the texture, graphical effect quality, specifically Mario Galaxy, but generally all of them. On average, they have pretty good graphical effects. Games that have amazing graphical effects, but due to the pixel per inch density, they lose a lot of quality in terms of the textures and everything. A pretty good one. Pretty good slick move there. And oh shit. Well, that one was unavoidable, I would say. And see, for example, here you can see perfectly that influence of the graphical effects on the gameplay mechanics. I can barely see shit, pretty much. Shit. Well, there you have it. Here you have the perfect influence that I have been mentioning. We'll restart this one. There you can see the perfect influence in the track races. For example, you can see that the dust prevents you from seeing beyond your normal range of vision. Pretty good. So going back to the textures, consider the pixel per inch density. That this game pretty much looks much better like this now, not only because of the ultra textures, but because of I wasn't counting on that. My bad. Sorry. You restart as soon as if you lose a combo so early, because it's much worse. You should always do that, because otherwise you lose the combo early on, and that's terrible. So there you can see that it looks better than ever here, not only because of the ultra textures, but because of the pixel per inch density. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that column there. I have a problem with that column. It's easy to forget. So it's a pixel per inch density, pretty much. I know that you cannot appreciate it, maybe, if you're watching this as a YouTube bot, because YouTube bots lose a lot of quality. But pretty much over at Twitch, I bet the difference is pretty notorious. It's easy to spot, because, as I've said, it's not only the ultra textures, but the pixel per inch density. We used to play these games. I remember the PS3 version, that I don't remember it having such amazing textures, but I do remember it having amazing graphical effects, like incredible graphical effects, and that tells you that one was miraculous. And that tells you about a quite interesting phenomenon, which is the fact that games with good graphical effects, like a lot of games released for the Nintendo Wii, like Mario Galaxy is a prime example, but a lot of them have pretty amazing graphical effects. They have pretty amazing graphical quality, but due to the low resolution of the Wii, it doesn't stand out. That's why there's such a shit. Well, I think we've hit a difficulty spike. That's why you see that in a lot of gameplays that played the Wii games on modern emulators, you can see that the games look gorgeous, like pretty much like modern games, because of how amazing the graphical effects were, but the resolution wasn't as great as them. And this game has that very same graphical phenomenon, in which it had amazing graphical effects, but the textures on the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions, they weren't bad. The textures weren't bad, but definitely I don't remember them so incredibly detailed as we are looking at here. Damn it, shit. I lost the combo. This one, shit. This one is going to be a challenge. This one's going to be a challenge, people. Precisely because of what I said. Because of here you can perfectly see the relationship between the graphical effects and the gameplay mechanics. I can't pay attention when the barrels explode, that you can barely see at some points. That perfect influence is what makes the game so amazing. It's what makes the game so amazing. That one was close. So, besides, it adds to the spectacularity and the main draw of the game. So, I think we can say by now, oof, that one. I don't know how I survived that one. Pretty good. 6 overtake streak. Shit. Oh boy. Damn it, so close. I was going to get a 7 score streak. Let's see what we can do. Remember, they get harder as we progress. So, well, look at this. This is what I've been talking about. Did you see that all of that smoke. Shit. Oof. That one, that's what I call surgical precision. See, that one was unavoidable. I did a blind turn there. I mean, there was no way to evade that. Come on, second place. One. Oof, last one. I won with the last. I won at the last second. Only 1 second left. That was well designed. First place, only with 1 second. Split second. This is the meaning of a split second, pretty much. This is the very essence and meaning of a split second. I only had 1 second left. Alright, there we go. Look at that. Only 1 overtake. Pretty much for 3,000 points. So there, I bet you could see there the relationship between the graphical effects and the gameplay mechanics, which is quite weird, quite unique to stumble upon. The second thing is precisely what I mentioned. That let's go back to the Quarry Civer. This is a race, right? A normal race. The second phenomenon that I precisely wanted to mention, that I said, is like that this game has this elimination race. Good. That it's something that I've seen in a lot of Wii games. Amazing graphical effects with with low textures on the console versions. So it's absolutely imperative to precisely get the Civer edition that I have been mentioning. Precisely unavoidable. Precisely because of that. To get the Civer edition that I have been mentioning, because the PC version on ultra textures and will make full use of those amazing original graphical effects like this. I am not sure I should have survived that, but well. I won't complain. Explode. Yeah. Look at that. It gets dark for some. It gets totally dark for some seconds. Now, onto the other element that I wanted to analyze in this last day of review of a split second. And I hit the brakes, huh? I hit the brakes. One thing that I wanted to analyze is precisely related to this and the soundtrack then. Related to what we just saw with a lot of the explosions that we just saw, that I say that they are unavoidable. Precisely, the fact that they are unavoidable, it's also the main draw. They are unavoidable. That they are no explosions are unavoidable except for level 3 power plays that are kind of like the equivalent of the blue shell, to ensure that the race doesn't get completely stale, like that it is in a stalemate. Well, not a stalemate. That it gets way too stale, in the sense that players that are not first cannot make a comeback. Right? Preventing comebacks would be a terrible design choice, but they are certainly perfectly measured and proportional in this game, because you don't have the blue shell, you don't have 100% efficiency of having a warranted comeback, let's say. But with the level 3 power play, well, if you are close, you need to at least be close, somehow close, to the leader of the pack. Danger, what? You always do the same scam. It's always the same with elimination races. I am beginning to think that there's a rubber band, a huge rubber band with this. There's a huge rubber band because it's the 10th time this happens to me, probably, more or less. Well, anyways, it's more than enough. Then we'll replay all of them, people, huh? What, the Divanos episode, it's a track race? Must be the most difficult out of all of them. That one will be interesting. Let's see. See what we can do. Let's get to the other one. Let's use the Reback Cyclone Special. So, it's quite amazing. It's quite amazing. It's absolutely amazing that the game manages to solve the problem of having a warranted kill, a warranted comeback, but at the same time it solves that issue, but at the same time it doesn't become 100% stalemate. Like, imagine that if the power play system, imagine that the power play system, what would happen if it was even more ineffective? Like, imagine they never came up with the level 2 power play, and we only have the level 2 power play, the red one, which changes the level design of the game, and we only have level 1 power plays. That would create a stalemate in which the leader of the pack, that one was unavoidable, in which the leader of the pack could never be reached. So they solved the conundrum of 100% efficiency. They found the correct proportion between 100% efficiency, the blue show, and a traditional racing game, which would... And a traditional racing game, which would be pretty much... in which it would be pretty much impossible to create the opening, the opportunity for a comeback. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see if we can replicate that. It's not that easy because you have to do a blind turn. Gently to the left. There we go. Good. Alright. Pretty good. Shit. Nope. Oof. Close one. You need to have Sasuke's Sharingan from Naruto to get through these barrels. Like when he could predict the enemy ninja's movement. Huh. Good read there. I was about to go to the right. Nope. Shit. Well, that one. I love how the blue barrel directly sent me to the red one. Like, we calculated this perfectly, player. You won't survive this. So yes, this game has the same phenomenon as the Wii, and precisely as I've said, it has the perfect proportion between the blue shell in Mario Kart and the... I'm trying to get to the logical reasons as to what shit. As to why a lot of people consider this the best racing game, one of the best racing games of all time, or even the best racing game of all time, and certainly one of the best kart racers of all time. That's precisely. See, you have no margin here. The last track, I only had what, 4 seconds, I believe, or 1. I was precise. Pretty well done. First place. So yeah, pretty much. The learning curve, the difficulty curve is getting better. We're getting much more difficulty. You're getting much more difficulty. So good. They measured it perfectly. Let's get to to the elite race. Last race of the 11th season, season 11 of the episode. I was about to say episode of the first season. The second season was Splitsecond 2, which there's a prototype online, but pretty much we never got it. Another tragedy for the gaming industry. We have so many. All right, the graphics, amazing. I think we cannot criticize the graphics at all. The game is a 10 out of 10. In that sense, it's one of the most spectacular and avoidable. You lose control of the car for a second when you trigger those. Shit. This is getting terrible. We all exploded. I love that soundtrack. This leads me to the other element of analysis, precisely. The soundtrack. The soundtrack is amazing. I think the racing song that they designed, it's the best I've seen in kart racers, in Mario Kart. They are more childish, which is understandable. But here they have, the soundtracks have, especially this one, the Elite Race soundtrack. I love it. It spawned right there. The Elite Race soundtrack that you are listening to, it gradually unfolds as we avoided that one. That one was amazing. Precisely this soundtrack that gradually unfolds as we get to the second and third laps. I think it's the most beautiful that the game has. Precisely the one that I posted over at Discord. Thank you. Because it gradually unfolds and it has that adrenaline pumping feeling to it. It's much more ominous and amazing. It's a mix of electronic and yeah, it feels pretty modern. That makes it feel pretty modern, the electronic touches that it has, without getting too crazy. As another, and generally the solution for, in terms of the soundtrack for a lot of racing games, is to just use the legendary EA tracks, for example, the system of having a playlist of official songs that the developer pays for. In the case of a Split Second, they went for a more subtle solution with their own soundtrack, which, as I always say, the soundtrack is something that generally game reviewers don't pay a lot of attention to, and I think it's a terrible mistake. That one was unavoidable. It's a great mistake because it is pretty much 50% of the ambience of the game, combined with the storyline. If we think about the ambience, people, the storyline, regardless of the genre of your game, it'll be the storyline, but also the soundtrack, because it creates the ambience. Think about, well, listen to this amazing soundtrack as it gradually unfolds when you get through as you complete the laps. That's the majestic part of the soundtrack in this game. That the soundtrack gradually unfolds as you progress through the laps of the races. That, I know it might sound extremely subtle and abstract, but it adds a lot to the ambience and the psychological sense of progression in the player's mind, if you think about it. Oof, that one was a close call. Good evasion there. See how it's unfolding, how the soundtrack gradually goes from slow drums to ominous to ominous electronic music, for example, like this, and that adds to the epicness of progressing through the race. It's incredible how it handles the psychological sense of progression to inject adrenaline in the player's mind. I know we are pretty much getting into the psychological effects of the soundtrack, but it's important. Because, for example, to establish a direct comparison, because Mario Kart does the same. Mario Kart does the same. On the third lap, the soundtrack gets faster. Haven't you noticed? It gets much faster, but it doesn't change. So in terms of the comparison, we've already analyzed the graphics today, and I wanted to get to the soundtrack, because we will have already analyzed the relationship between the level design and the gameplay mechanics and everything in the previous 2 episodes. The soundtrack, the ambience, it's pretty well designed. It's not just the graphics, and the fact that, what I said, that the graphical effects of this game were ahead of its time. Not only that, people. The soundtrack, instead of being faster, imagine, what's easier? Pushing a button and making the last lap have faster soundtrack, the solution of Mario Kart, for example, or out with a bang, the final episode, people. We'll pretty much finish it today.
The wait is over.
Or
Don't
gradually
miss the television event of the year. Join us next time for the season finale of Split Second.
This is it, people. We'll get to the final episode, and we'll finish the game today. If we finish way too early, we'll go back to the post-endgame of Sacred 2. Pretty much, what's harder as a software developer or as a composer of the game? What's harder? Making the soundtrack faster, pressing kind of like a fast-forward button, or gradually changing it, making it different? Well, if you think about it a bit, you will see that gradually unfolding the gameplay and changing the soundtrack.
It's been one long roller coaster ride of a journey.
It's more complex.
And now, the final stage of this highly charged championship is here.
The build-up is real. Pretty much.
Get ready. It's time for the finale of Split Second.
Alright, we'll do this. We'll leave the final race for the end of the stream. And first I'll finish the rest of them and go back and finish the rest of the episodes. Otherwise we are not building up the finale of this legendary game, people. That would be stupid. So let's do that, and let's build up the final race. I want to play the final race last, so we have some cohesion here. Otherwise it's not. It destroys the build-up of the tension of getting to the final race. Never do that. Never destroy the build-up of the game. So, going back to the soundtrack. If you pay attention, it gradually unlocks. Sorry, gradually unfolds. It gradually develops as. It gradually develops as you progress through a race. So. Well, everything. Ah, damn it, the shortcut. I missed the shortcut, but well, it doesn't matter because I did a complete wreckage. I think it has a name in this game, kind of like complete wreckage or something like that. I also exploded that. I went a bit overboard. Then I'll run out of traps. I'll run out of power plays by the end of this race. But there, could you see anything? I couldn't. For a fact, I certainly couldn't. Oh shit. You wrecked yourself. Oh, damn it. Damn it, true, it's a knockout race. Alright. Oh shit, you have to be kidding me. I have no power plays. You have to be kidding me. There we go. Saved. Here we are. Get out of my way. There we go. Good. So yes, I would say that it's much more. I love how they improved upon the formula of Mario Kart in that sense. So the soundtrack, for example, is the soundtrack, for example, is shit. The soundtrack, for example, it gradually unfolds instead of just being kind of like a fast forward. Instead of being a fast forwarded version of the original song of the race. Damn it! Oh boy. It's just you and me. You ain't doing the same thing that you did last time. Oh, damn it. Shit. You have to be kidding me. God damn it. That was such... The rubber banding was real there. I can see that the difficulty curve gets concentrated in the knockout races here, people. Let's retry it, because, as I've said, I want to achieve 100% completion. Pretty much. I want to achieve gold on all races. That artificial intelligence, that was... The rubber banding was real. See, that takes me back to the only element of the user interface that I would have changed, which is that I would have added a speedometer in this game. Like, that's the same mistake that Mario Kart 7 did. For example, it had no speedometer. And when you get the CTGP, which is a modded version for the 3DS, you get a speedometer. I don't know if there's something like that for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but for Mario Kart 7 we had to resort to a mod to fix it, pretty much. That drifting, it's pretty much the best in the game. 0.4 seconds to last place. Interesting. Alright, now I can see that this time that we've been at the end of the pack, I can see that this time I beat the race. Those are the ironies of a split second, people. Just like Mario Kart. Ah well. You can perfectly see the idea of... Shit! That was stupid. Damn it. Terrible attempt. Terrible attempt. No, shit, no. Well, that was fucked up. That was fucked up. That was fucked up. That was fucked up. Yep, the difficulty is getting higher and higher. That is always a positive. That is always a positive. It enhances replayability. I love it. Because I said that the game at the beginning was way too easy, but now it's getting wild. I need to trigger all of the power plays at the beginning just like I did last time. It's easy to draft them here. So, where are the power plays? There they are. Here they are. And here they are. That's what I like to see. Huh. Only this one survived that was behind. Close call. And let's do another one. Yep, pretty difficult to avoid. At least for the AI, if you play this on multiplayer, you'll see that that the other racers will evade, except for the course. Except for if it's a course like with all 100% effectiveness, like the rocks that we saw previously. In multiplayer, I bet the players like I'm doing there, they can evade more of the power plays, and it becomes even more competitive. So it's absolutely amazing. Oh. I could keep the drift even like that. Alright. The drifting of this car is pretty much the best ever. I probably shouldn't have done that. But well, at least like this I ensure that they won't do that. Because it's a warranted crash. It's a warranted crash. Pretty much no way to get around that. Oh, no, the soundtrack changed again. That's what I love about this game. Well, I love so many things about it. Ah, look at that. When you change, pretty amazing level design. When you change the routes, it's easier to get the shortcut. Interesting. Absolutely amazing. Yep, definitely I'm sticking with this car. I'm sticking to this car, sorry. Please people understand that even if I make mistakes, in 3 hours of chatting, or 4 hours of chatting, you'll make mistakes regardless of the language you are speaking. Looks like this time, Eraser wins. Yep. Easy. Easy peasy. No, not easy. Actually, the rubber banding that we faced last time was brutal. But well, this time I triggered all of the power plays all together. So the graphical effects, what I meant, all of the things that I mentioned, the same case. Eliminator efficiency. Win an elimination event by being in first place at each elimination. Ah, truly, I did that. Even the first one. Oh, good. That's a weird. That's an interesting achievement to get. Alright, let's keep going. Final episode after all. Remember, we'll do all of the races. Then, once we get to the end, we'll leave the elite race for the end. Pretty much. And we could go back and do the other ones, huh? Out with a bang. Ah, it's a premonition, that title, that we never got Split Second Season 2, Episode 2. By the way, I hope you're enjoying the release of Warhammer Space Marine 2. I highly recommend you play that game. I finished the first one on the hardest difficulty, and it's amazing. And I'll download it. During the weekend, and I'll be playing it off stream probably. Because Warhammer Space Marine, the series, it's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I just hope they enhance replayability. I have a modded version of the Eraser. You're always the same. You're always the same. When we think that we have seen everything about video games, you always say the same. I have a modded version. I have made this crazy modification to the game. Yeah, it's pretty much what I love about PC gaming. Modding saves games and makes them pretty much beyond perfect in their capabilities. I have a modded version in which I can play kind of like the survival multiplayer of the original release on my own, the original game. So I want to see if this one has the online capabilities of. Oh, shit, careful. You can fall off that cliff. Like here as well. So... I want to see if the second one retains all of the amazing qualities of the original. Highly recommended the Warhammer Space Marine series. It's a miracle, well, the series. It's a miracle that we got the second game, people. The trial of Captain Titus took 10 years. It's almost like Roman justice. Pretty much. 10 years. For example, in the judicial system of my country, for example, you have some trials of 10 years. I've suffered them firsthand. 10 years. 10 years. That's because of the continental law system instead of the common law, for example. And Captain Titus, I laugh always because it's the same. It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. In the not in real life, in the kind of like in the lore of the game, since he was since he faced trial and now he returns to claim vengeance against the infidels. Yeah, pretty much. The infidel xenomorphs. So yeah, highly recommend it. Because I remember that I played Warhammer Space Marine 1 after a split second. Pretty much. Right away. The competition is getting fierce. Shit. Thanks, I guess. Well, thanks. We are running. We are driving through a dam there. They are getting aggressive, people. They are getting aggressive. The artificial intelligence certainly doesn't want me to have a smooth experience by the end of the game. Look at those rocks. Yeah, it's this precise course that it gets to hair-pulling levels of difficulty. I bet you have never heard that one. It's an old school phrase that I learned. Hair-pulling difficulty. Nails eating difficulty. Yeah. Well, that one would be anxiety more than any. No. You're tricky. That one was unfair. That one was unfair. It was almost a first try. You have to be kidding me. It was almost a first try. Canyon. This track is called Canyon. This one will be the ideal one for multiplayer because the rocks kind of like ensure that you will that the efficiency of the power plays is higher. Alright. Fair enough. The rubber banding is real. That was so artificial. The rubber banding. I felt like playing Scoot Race for a second there. In case you're interested, we did the 60 laps endurance Scoot Race challenge on the hardest difficulty. Oh, I remember this one. I think this one is one of the most difficult ones, that I did back when I played the game. This track overtake section. But well, now I have this car and I have a better mastery of the game. And I'm older, so shit. So we should be able to make it. Come on. Let's do it. I love how I pretty much jump between these two cars because I've already assessed the stat system of the game. Remember, as we progress through this level, the tracks gets harder. Good. Oh, That was good. Come on. It's a race against time at the end of the day. You also have to use the other cars as meat shells. Like, well, here not as much I could use as a meat shield. So yeah, for today I wanted to analyze all of those things, from the graphics to the soundtrack to the, well, in terms of the storyline, the fact that they added the extra touch of being a reality TV show, it's pretty good. So it's pretty good, and I highly appreciate it that they at least added a context, a cohesive context to the game. But at least they added a cohesive context to the game. Damn it! I thought this was going to be much harder. This one was easier. Then it's the other one. Then it's the last one, because I remember there was one that was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. And when I say absolutely brutal, I mean it. I think it's the last track race, specifically the track race. But well, good. First try. I guess I think it's the last one. I think it's a helicopter revenge or something like that. Yeah, it's a helicopter, this one. Good. Next one, Ryback Firestorm. Alright. Race against time, classic time attack. Classic time attack. I love how they call it detonator, because besides being a time attack, everything also explodes. Again, this car, I think I've already used this car or what? What the? Shit, the drifting. Ah, and the canyon. Huh. The most difficult race with a car. Shit. With the most difficult handling. Oh, I didn't know we could do that. What the? What the? Well, I didn't know you could do this. Wow. Amazing. I didn't remember that portion of this track. Wow, that was... It has the worst drifting I've seen in my life. Is that on purpose? God, I mean, it's a troll level. It's a troll level, yes. I bet I did. I guess I did the first try. I am the best. No, no, we're not. This one will be interesting to beat then. Oof. Look at that, people. The worst drifting I've seen in my life. Comfortably between second and first, please. Damn it. This one is brutal. This is the very definition of brutality, people. And I cannot change the car. Hey, this one looks like a Lamborghini. Something like that. I love how they implemented this so the players, so it was an easier way of making the players. Let's try it again, because I pretty much only made one mistake. Anyways, I don't think I would have made it, but anyways, let's try it one more time, then we get to the other ones. I love it how these time attack races are designed so the player learns the locations of the power plays. I don't know if you've noticed it, but it's a pretty good way of handling the learning curve of the game by the developers, because pretty much they ensure that the player learns the locations of the power plays. The player learns the locations of the power plays alone, without any other racers. and at the same time they add gameplay variety to the game, to the gameplay mechanics. And they also showcase to the player the stat system because of how the car, because of how different the handling of the cars can be. Good one. Oh. We're gonna make it. I am the best, I guess. No. That drifting. On the last second. Alright, alright. Now I need to... see how it ensures that the player needs to master the handling of the car and the evasion maneuvers, both at the same time. The evasion maneuvers, and he needs to learn by heart. The player needs to memorize. Look at that, 78 milliseconds. The player needs to learn the locations of the power plays, and at the same time, you need to master the handling of a pretty shitty car. What's this? Oh, wait a second. Acceleration to 1. The Quarry Civer is still 3, and the other one 3. It's the same. It has better drifting, huh? Only 1 point. Ah. That's this is a pretty good option. This is a pretty good option. It's pretty much the equivalent of the other one. 3 points of strength. It also has 1 more point of strength. And in terms of speed, it's the same. No, the perfect one would be one with more acceleration. With the same acceleration, at least a bit more of a speed, like this. With a bit more of a speed, with less drifting or less strength, or something like that. Let's try it because it must be quite similar to the Quarry Civer's. Great power requires great control. This is especially true for the FX 350, in which mastering the drift is all about mastering the throttle. Yeah, it's very similar to the Quarry Civer's. Let's just choose it for variation's sake. I guess it's the same. It has pretty similar stats to what I'm looking for. It has 1 less point of acceleration, but even the best drifting in the game, as far as I can tell. Take the chopper down as fast as you can to win this event. Okay. Helicopter revenge. Who doesn't love a good helicopter revenge? I love the variety of the gameplay. Definitely. Yeah, this is the one in which you need to drift. Right in time for this car, huh? Right in time. Because it has the best drifting, and drifting helps to build up the power play. Also, did I mention that they get... No! Oh, come on. You have to be kidding me, that one was unfair. I lost it. Let's do it again. Let's do it again because that one was unfair. Pretty much. Well, not unfair. It was pretty close. It was pretty close. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Let's do it, let's do it, people. So I think we have pretty much analyzed everything the game has to offer in terms of the control, of the handling. It plays a much bigger role. It's quite similar to Ridge Racer, just so you have a reference in terms of the drifting. It certainly goes for a more arcade feel. And that's good because it's what allows the developers to create such an amazing system. Yeah, I don't know if this is the better drifting or the Quarry Civer's, huh? It would be a pretty close call between the two. It wasn't a perfect wave, but well. It wasn't a perfect wave, but I could build up the drifting a lot. Nice try. Damn it. Give me my drifting bonus. Shit. It's important to build up the drifting here, huh? This one is gonna be close. Come on. I need to drop that thing in my next. Come on. Oh shit. Damn it. No. Come on. Let me drop that thing. 146, 1 minute. Damn it. Damn it, that was so close. You'll see the timing. I think I saw it. 146. Hold on. Well, almost 147. Let's retry it. I need to build up the drifting even more. I don't know how to do it because pretty much that was pretty close. Yeah, I would say the drifting of the Quarry Civeres might be even better. Even so, it says otherwise here. What the? Where's my bonus for evading all of those? Huh? Is it a joke? What's going on? Why didn't I get a bonus? Was I way too slow? It could be. If you're way too slow, it can happen that it stops it. That it doesn't give you. That it doesn't give you the score like that. It didn't give me that. I think. Because it wasn't perfect. Now, let me drift. Let me drift so I can build up that bar. Shit. Damn it, it wasn't perfect. It needs to be a perfect wave. Let me grab the Quarry Civeres. Let me grab the Quarry Civeres because this one is advertised as having a perfect drift, a better drifting, but I find this one better. It's easier to trigger the drifts because acceleration contributes to that. Let me get the Quarry Civeres. I think that by now, if we can do this with this one, yeah, look at this. It's instant. The speed, the acceleration, the extra acceleration ensures that it. The extra acceleration ensures that it has the speed required to drift better. What a weird combination of a stat system. Like the acceleration. Damn it, it wasn't perfect, damn it. It was pretty close to be, but well. This one. We're gonna make it with this one. That was a drifting jump. Yeah, this one is the best car of the game. Perfect wave, I used a shortcut, take that. Yep, I love this car. It's my car pretty much. What the? I got a stolen of a bit of a drifting there, I believe. might not have been. That's it. I win. I love this car. It's the best. This car is the best. We are a match made in heaven. It's pretty much the best car of the game, as far as I can tell. I was right about the stats that I picked. Pretty much. Look at that 132. The difference was huge. Yeah, you can trigger the drifts much faster with the acceleration. Alright, people. Alright. Let's do it. One last ride. Finishing what we left from the previous stream. That's why I started earlier today as well. All of the races that we left unconcluded. One last ride. We finish all of the races. And we finish all of the races and get to the final elite race of a split second, and we finish the game today. Pretty much. If we finish it today, I won't do the... well, maybe we can do the analysis, huh? Because it's been 2 hours. In 2 hours, I think I can finish the analysis, huh? Or we can do... Now we have to compensate Secret 2 that we didn't play a lot on Tuesday. And we can leave the analysis of a split second for next time. Alright, we'll have to finish some of those races first place. From now on, it's first place or nothing. I'll restart as soon as I see that first place it's impossible to get. And pretty much get to the final race. That's the idea, as fast as possible. Alright, people, alright. Then we can do the analysis next Tuesday. We can play Secret 2 after this. We can do the analysis next Tuesday. And then on Thursday we can do the Ultimate PS Vita showcase. That'll be weird because there will be no gameplay next week. But well, it will depend on how much time it takes me to get to the ending. So far we are progressing smoothly, but well, I consider that I left the worst, the most difficult races for last, so we need to take that into account. Shit. I love how that thing went flying down. So yes, by now I think we've analyzed all of the aspects of the game with what I mentioned about the graphical effects. As for the rest, the graphics are 10 out of 10. Consider the pixel per inch density issue that I mentioned. I mean, why is it that I cannot get to the ones that are first? 7.3 seconds. Let's restart this. I can see why I failed this race the other week. It's kind of like, see what I mentioned, the low efficiency of the power plays. The low efficiency of the power plays a role here. Oh shit, damn it. Wait, so you're right. Yeah, sorry, I love my joystick. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the thing is that there we go. Yeah. Sorry, I ran out of space for a sec here. Pretty much. I generally have more room, but I would have to. I generally take my seat back a bit, and I have a lot of room. But that way I would be way far. I would be far away from the camera from all of you, and you wouldn't even be able to see the details of the of my of my facial expressions, and that way you would lose a lot of detail, and the reactions wouldn't be the same, people. They wouldn't be the same. All right. I think we've analyzed pretty much everything. The graphics, the grandeur, pretty much everything. The innovation is the first thing that I analyzed, pretty much. The gameplay, the level design, the AI, the rubberbanding AI, it's pretty good. Like, I love rubberbanding in racing games because it adds to the difficulty always, but not to the extreme of Forza Horizon 1. Well, not to the extreme. I would say the game is one of the best racing games of all time because of that. So yeah, I don't mind rubberbanding because I don't mind difficulty. I'm mentioning this because the other day I was reading a review. I was reading the review of the new Astrobot game for the PlayStation, and they say it's way too easy. Well, now this is what that degenerate. They say it's way too easy. Well, that's on you, Gaming Press, because pretty much you contributed to create that notion that games that it's okay to release easy games. No, that's not okay. That's a severe flaw. In fact, I highlight it as a flaw with every game I analyze because it destroys replayability, people. I was reading the review of Astrobot, for example. We've already analyzed some of the aspects pretty much of a split second. The artificial intelligence, it's pretty well executed. As I've said, rubberbanding. I'll take rubberbanding any day instead of having an easy game. Precisely why I'm... oh shit. What I've been mentioning. Oops. Close one. Close call. I'll take that any day. Rubberbanding of the artificial intelligence. Than an easy game. Because now reviewers are complaining. See the... the irony. Now professional game reviewers are complaining that... professional between quotes, people, that the games are way too easy, but back during the 7th generation, and also in the analysis of the reviews of Warhammer Space Marine 2, for example, they're still complaining that it's way too difficult. So when you do that, then don't complain that you get a 3D platformer like the new Astrobot game for the PlayStation, and complain that it's way too easy. Like, as I always say, people, it doesn't matter if it's rubberbanding artificial intelligence in a racing game. It doesn't matter if it's perfectly framed jumps in a 3D platformer. Difficulty, always. It doesn't matter if it's fair or unfair, because generally the argument is that it's not that the difficulty curve is not properly measured and that there are difficulty spikes. Metaphysically and objectively, difficulty is always positive, regardless of how difficult the game might be. Why? Because it enhances replayability, and as I always mention, when you enhance replayability, you are exponentially increasing the psychological sense of progression on the player. When reviewers say, I love this, when they say the game is addictive or it's not addictive, I'm not giving you a logical reason if I say that. Pretty much the relativist argument, without any logical arguments behind it. A game is addictive or not because of the psychological sense of progression that it creates, unavoidable, in the player's mind. It's not just a matter of the mental perception of addictiveness. It has to do with how efficient it is at creating the psychological sense of progression. See that it's much deeper than saying it's addictive or not, for example. So when they complain that a racing game has rubber banding, it has a rubber banding that was pretty well timed. A rubber banding AI, it's a terrible mistake when you're reviewing a game, because as I've said, difficulty always enhances replayability. The second that happens, it is objectively impossible to refer to the difficulty as a negative portion of the gameplay mechanics, because if you reduce the difficulty, even if it's unfair, then we can get into the debate that the degree of efficiency of the learning curve, which is something different. But objectively, difficulty by itself is always positive, because it enhances replayability and sense of progression. So now I'm looking at the reviews. I'm reading the reviews of Astrobot, for example, for the PlayStation, and they complain that it's way too easy. Now they complain after they realized that difficulty got destroyed so much in a lot of modern games. It got so degraded. It was so degraded. In a lot of cases, I still think that there are games with good difficulty, but it got so degraded that now they've realized that what I'm mentioning, that difficulty, objectively, it is absolutely needed, regardless of the situation. So that's why, when we talk about rubber banding in racing games, it is always positive, even in extreme cases like Forza Horizon, for example, because in that one, yes, it was way too much. There we can get into the debate of the efficiency of the difficulty curve of the game. Damn it, shit. I can see it's always the same. Or this thing that you just saw. There you can see that, at least we were close. There you can see that even if this pisses me off, even if that's the case, that I got that there the rubber banding was way too brutal, way too aggressive. Even so, it's a positive element. It just enhances replayability. Erase already enhanced it by being unfair and pulling a shit card, pulling a shit out of nowhere yeah, never do that. It's better to not take the shortcut in those cases. It's better to have that. It's better to have that than an easy game, always. It's like what I mentioned when I analyzed Sacred 2, when I analyzed the proportion between the usage of potions, the quality of the loot that you get from mobs and the quality of the loot that you get from vendors. Always the tendency is to get the best loot from mobs, because it develops it contributes to the challenge of the RPG. Imagine if we could get the best gear from vendors in our RPGs instead of the mobs. That would make no sense. It would destroy the challenge of the game. So the same goes for this one. It's better to kind of like go a bit overboard with the rubber banding, like in a Scud race, than having an easy game, a way too easy game, like, I don't know, a lot of modern Need for Speed ones. That's why Need for Speed Shift was such an amazing change of pace for the franchise. for example. There you can see it perfectly reflected in Need for Speed Shift. Ha, take that. But now how do I get to that guy? He escaped. Not good. I evaded the crash, but... Level 3 power play? No, he escaped it. Wow. So the last element that I wanted to get to, now that we have covered all of the campaign as a prelude to the analysis of a split second, is that in terms of replayability, the one element that is holding this game back is precisely randomized races, the same one that prevents Mario Kart. Putting the focus of the game on the multiplayer, just like Mario Kart for example, and not having kind of like a randomized mode. It's the same criticism that I've made to Mario Kart and all racing games altogether. Not having... The day someone creates a roguelike instead of a multiplayer-oriented Mario Kart clone, Mario Kart Racer, that day that game will probably sell a lot. It's the same criticism. The campaign is way too short, and it only took me... Yeah, it's pretty much a standard, but way too short. I wish someone would have a kart racer with, for example, the length of Forza Motorsport 2 or Forza Motorsport 3, for example. Like the single player element, which is the one I pay attention to, is the one responsible for holding the kart racing genre back, if you ask me. I think the focus on the multiplayer aspect of it, it's a great mistake, the greatest mistake of this particular subgenre of the kart racing of kart racers of the kart racing subgenre when compared to racing games, the pure racing games, like, as I've said, like Forza, like Gran Turismo, like a lot of pure racing games. The single-player epicness of the lengthy single-player epicness of Forza Motorsport, for example, didn't make its way to kart racers. And if on top of that we could add randomized elements, it would be even more amazing. I'm trying to think of an example that at least gets close to it, and it's difficult for me to find it because pretty much generally the campaigns are short. In the case of a split second, it at least adds the epicness and the cohesion of the reality show aspect to it. At least it makes a difference there, of adding a storyline, something that, for example, Mario Kart doesn't have. But for example, Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed, that one's a good example. Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed has a quite lengthy and replayable campaign. It doesn't have... Oh shit, everything went to shit there. It has a pretty lengthy campaign, for example. I don't know if you can think about other examples, people, but in my case, I played a lot of games like this, and Blur also has a pretty lengthy campaign, I remember. So, in that sense, yeah. But can you imagine something like the seasonal system of Forza Motorsport 3 combined with a kart racer like Mario Kart or Sonic All-Stars Racing or Split Second? In the case of Split Second, it's easier to imagine because we use real cars, not licensed cars, but in terms of the physics, they are much more similar. They are not karts. They're kind of like Gran Turismo cards and things like that. Like they're like GT cards in terms of the handling and everything. So yeah, pretty much. Nope. Shit. There's always a degenerate. No, you have to be kidding me. That rubber banding is brutal. What do you want me to do? I have no... It crashed. Look at that. I don't know if that was sheer lag or it realized. Hey, look at that. There's no pilot inside of the car. There's no racer. Alright. Okay. See, that would be a mistake. They should always include the racer. Forza Motorsport did it back in the day. There's no reason why not to include it here. Alright, that's it. We're progressing smoothly in our backtracking. Here we go, people. Hey, was that a helicopter run? Is it a helicopter revenge? Must be quite difficult for me to have left it like that. Cleaning up. It has to be a helicopter. Has to be a helicopter revenge, huh? Has to, pretty much. Has to be a helicopter revenge or an evasion. No, it's a helicopter revenge. Yeah, pretty much. The drifting of this track must be quite bad, or what? There has to be some element. Well, that one could have been perfect, my bad. Oh well, doesn't matter. What could I have... Maybe I just skipped it. I skipped a lot of them. Well, not skipped. I did them only once for the stream. So you don't get bored, guys, of me repeating the same races. And maybe I skipped it and it wasn't a matter of difficulty. That helicopter is taking a beating. This will be first, right? Yeah, probably I skipped it because I said it's gonna be way too boring for them to just look at me repeating some of the tracks constantly. I mean, the drifting of this car is the best. Welp. That is good. Damn it. That last one was difficult to spot. Come on, we're almost there. It's over. First try, easy. Yeah, I probably didn't try more than once this one, because I didn't want to make the gameplay boring for you guys. pretty much. That one was easy. Alright, I think we've covered everything, huh? I think we covered all aspects of the gameplay mechanics. The handling of the cars is a combination, as I said, of Ridge Racer with the drifting mechanics. And regardless of the variations of the stat system, pretty much the gameplay mechanics, the handling of the car, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's definitely not broken at all. It's quite efficient at evading the power plays. So that's a testament to how efficient the gameplay mechanics, the handling of the cars is in this game. So yeah, pretty much. When is the time, Grace? Oh, I can see the problem. That's some shitty drifting. That felt so heavy. Well, that's another problem that we may need to address. Like, desperately. Now I can see that this will all be kind of like race against time detonation races, because they are the hardest choke points of the difficulty of this game. Alright, so it doesn't drift. This car shouldn't drift. The gameplay variations are also pretty good, huh? According to the stat system of the handling control variation of the car according to to the handling system of the game. Yeah, you are definitely not meant to drift with this one. This one I knew about it. It's kind of like a visual trick. How about this? Good. Easy, easy, easy. I know this section by heart because of the previous detonator. This one will be close, people. You have to do it like this. This is the same portion as the detonator. Here it changes, it's easier. Well, come on. You should be able to make it. I think I made it. First try. Well, second try. Second try after I didn't get pummeled by crushed by a huge container. Easy. This one is going to be fast. Alright. See why I said that we could play Sacred 2 after this. Because, well, maybe. We'll see, we'll see. Let's not underestimate the difficulty curve of the game, which is the last element that I wanted to take a look at. The difficulty curve, yeah, they couldn't have made it steeper, because pretty much... Alright, that one's new. I didn't even try it. They could have made it steeper, because if they made it like that, the timed races, for example, would have been way too brutal, combined with the rubber banding of the AI. So they had to keep a perfect balance, pretty much. So I think by now I've analyzed everything the game has to offer. My criticism, as I've said, the lack of content, pretty much. I mean, lack of content. For a racing game, 10 to 12 hours, it's pretty standard. But definitely, I think the golden standard is that of, for me, the best racing game of all time. It's Forza, especially the best level design, at least. The best racing game is Forza Motorsport 2, because of the difficulty, precisely because you actually have to play the game 3 times. You have to actually play the game 3 times. Hey, I think this is the one that we did at the beginning of today's stream. Because you have to play the game 3 times to get access to the Japanese cars that you need to finish a lot of the races. It's kind of like physically impossible to get first place in some of the races without Japanese cars. And according to the zone that you start the game with, for example, if you start with a European car, you might be able to beat a portion of or an American car when you start with them. Then there's especially 2 or 3 Japanese tracks that they're impossible, almost nearly not impossible to do on the highest difficulty without a Japanese car, because of the handling of the stat system. That's pretty much why, damn it, I think that Forza Motorsport, it has the most difficult race of all time that I've seen, besides a Scoot race maybe, and old arcade racers. But in terms of simulators, I think the combination of having the longest campaign I've pretty much seen in any racing game ever. With the difficulty, I think the level design of Forza Motorsport 2, it was perfect, even better than the third one. The problem with it is that it doesn't have soundtrack, but it allows you to kind of like use your own sounds, your own songs. Because the soundtrack system is integrated with the Xbox 360 capabilities. You can play songs while playing games. People generally don't know about that. That's something that they should add to a lot of to the modern consoles. The fact that you can play you can inject your playlist. You can inject your playlist for racing games and play them. So since they didn't have to worry about the soundtrack of the game, that's a weird case. They eliminated that portion to focus on the rest of the gameplay mechanics, and it truly shows. In the case of Forza Motorsport 3, it does incorporate the soundtrack, but the difficulty is not there. They damped down the artificial intelligence a lot from Motorsport 2 to Motorsport 3, and I think that's precisely that pretty much backs up the initial statement that I told you people, that the difficulty curve of the game is always positive. In terms of Forza Motorsport 3, well, it still has a lot of quality, and it has the seasonal system for the level design, which is the saving grace. The difficulty curve is not as good as Forza. It's definitely way worse than Forza Motorsport 2 and Forza Horizon 1, especially. In Forza Horizon 1, it's nasty. That's why I haven't played the second one and the rest of the franchise, because I think they, after Motorsport 3, they damped down the difficulty way too much. As I've said, it's better to have the reputation of having rubber-banding AI than for your racing game than having a way too easy game, because you destroy your playability with the second option. Pretty much. I mean, they got away. This is gonna be a pretty hard race. It's gonna be a pretty hard race. Let's restart, people. It's a pretty hard race. It's the most difficult course of the game. Perfect example of influence of the level design on the gameplay mechanics. See how this race is harder than the ones that we've been doing? Because here you get crushed in one blow. The hazardous environment element of the gameplay mechanics combined with the weaponry system of the game fused, because it's pretty much like that, what we explored in the first part of the series, combined with the weaponry system, influences the gameplay mechanics in such a way that it's so easy to get to crash in this course that it's amazing. And besides, you could see there the perfect example of getting away and that proportion of not having the blue show. But for example, this track doesn't have a level 2 power plays. Like you can see that in tracks that don't have the level 2 power play, which is the most similar, which is the equivalent of the power shell, you can see how difficult it is to reach. I was looking back to reach the leader of the pack when you don't have the level 2 power play. So it's incredible. Well, there I have one, but it's only one. So for the rest of the race, we don't have that. And if they get away, for example, those up ahead, if they get away, you could see that it was impossible for me to get to them later. That's the beauty of the influence of the level design on the gameplay mechanics of a split second. That you can get a more predominant first place, effectively solving the blue shell problem, but you still have the level 2 power plays to get rid of them, to somehow compensate for the fact that the leader of the pack can get away, and that the efficiency of the power plays isn't 100% like the weaponry system of normal kart racers. So that was way too much drifting, and I could fall off that cliff. Come on, I need to ensure they don't get away. I love how the developers try to add realism to the races by making all of the cars that get to first place they are the other one, the Ryback Cyclone, that has the highest speed. So they are trying to simulate. No, but they have the highest speed player, huh? They have the highest speed player. So there's a logical reason behind you not being able to get to them. That one got away. Shit. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get to that bastard. There you are, I can see ya. Good. There was one power play left. So it's amazing how the amount of power plays that you have left. No, goddammit. The amount of power plays that you have left also have an impact on that. No, you don't. You ain't going to. Shit. I actually tried to ensure that he was dropped only. Come on. Perfectly timed. Good. Now I have this degenerate. Drafting. Come on. Let's make sure he doesn't get away. This car is not the best at drafting. Damn it, I don't have any more. Power plays? No. That was legendary. Now that was good. Wow. The game did a great job at keeping up the tension there. Building up and keeping it up. That's for sure. Pretty well done. See why the rubber banding is needed? Look at that. Look at that, those times. See why the rubber banding is needed? We would have never experienced that beautiful moment, or the track race in which I only won by 1 sec. This one's new. No, let's get rid of this one first. This one's new. The timed races are the most difficult. They are the most difficult. So let's see what we can do about them. Let's see what we can do about them. Elimination. Good. Huh? No, I didn't pause it. It also has that bag, the PC version, that if you... same track, but elimination, to ensure that you lose, regardless of how good you drive. Alright. Amazing influence of the level design on the gameplay mechanics that I mentioned last time as well. The different game modes that the game has. They ensure that they pretty much that the game is always fresh and it has a lot of objective variety. So quite important. Quite important. Amazing graphics, huh? Look at the sky, it's amazing. It's pretty similar to the sky of the beginning of The Witcher 3. Which... look at that. I wasn't wrecked. It registered it as falling off the cliff, I believe. Interesting how, even if the power play didn't get me, the fact that I fell off that cliff did the trick. This course is definitely the trickiest one so far. Nice use of a power play to avoid the drift there. Shit. You have to be kidding me. That wasn't properly measured. My bad. Well, I think we have pretty much analyzed everything, people, huh? In terms of the graphics, of the grandeur of the soundtrack, the game is absolutely incredible. It builds up the tension perfectly. I need to be careful with those. I don't trust that thing there. Pretty well done. These vultures. As soon as I drift. Oh boy. What the? He got away. Shit. Ah, damn it. Come on. What the? It didn't trigger. Come on, give me a power play. I need one more power play. Get rid of him. You have to be kidding me. No. Shit. No. No more power plays. No more power plays. I see the problem of this race. And it's this last bit of it. Alright, but I promise you guys, 100% completion all gold, and that's what we're gonna do. Damn it, the power plays were... I ran out of power plays there. I need to measure that. Because if you run out of power plays then it's worse. There we go. Let's get rid of him once and for all. Well, once and for all. Now I have to survive. Alright. You need to master drifting as well, huh? Of course. That is the evidence. Thanks, Civer, for pointing out the evidence. No, it's not evident, people. There are a lot. You would be surprised that there are a lot of kart racers in which, for example, drifting. For example, in Sonic All-Stars Racing Transform, you have to master drifting, but it's a weird case because in Sonic All-Stars Racing Transform, since you can change to, damn it. You can change to you transform your cars precisely, and the drifting mechanics are different. It's not as prevalent as in this game or Mario Kart, for example. Like the drifting mechanic changes drastically, and the direct consequence is that the drifting mechanics in Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed aren't as predominant because you change the mechanics according to the terrain. So it's more of a matter of yes, you have to master them, but even so, they're not used as much as in this one. As in this one or Mario Kart. If you play Sonic All-Stars Racing Transform, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's extremely subtle, but you'll realize that drifting is more stiff. It's more stiff than in Mario Kart on this game. This game in split second, it's so loosey-goosey. There, for example, I risked being hit by the environmental power play in exchange for speed, for taking the correct path. Because sometimes I have to take kind of like the slower path because of... I have to take the slower path because of trying to avoid the trap. Due to directly trying to avoid the trap. Leading the way, win every bonus round. Thank you. We're so close, people. We are getting to the finale and it's not even been 3 hours. Downtown Central Detonator. This one will be the most difficult, probably. I'll leave the detonators for last because they are the most difficult. Let's get to the elimination ones. I'm beginning to see a pattern with elimination races. The first race, you always lose it because right at the end, at the final moment, the rubber banding gets crazy. They get on asteroids, and they pass you. And the second time, it doesn't. So we'll try a bit of a trick. I'll restart it now. Because it could be that the developers did that. It wouldn't be far away from their design choices. Kind of like first race, you'll always lose player, and then the second. Can you imagine? And then the second race, then it's a normal race. Because there was a big difference in that last race. I'm beginning to get suspicious. Those things are pretty common in racing games. Like first race, let's ensure that the player loses regardless of what he does to create an artificial sense of difficulty. And then the second race is normal. Can you imagine, people? I'm beginning to see a pattern. There we go, that one was trying to run away. Not under my watch. There we go. So maybe by restarting it right from the beginning, we can avoid that losing wasting the time of the first, let's say, mock-up round. The mock-up race. Oops. Careful, this course has a lot of crazy traps. Like that one, this one for example. I had to run into, or this one, I had to run right where I needed to. Right where I was going to crash. Look at this one. This one is a safer route. Albeit a bit longer, but well, then I can activate a power play. Like that. Easy. There you go. Damn it, it failed. Those two got away. I need to get rid of those two people. ASAP, I wasn't looking. Enough. It's enough. I need to prevent that one from getting away. Those two from getting away. There's actually two of them. You ain't getting away. No, 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 no. 14 seconds. What's the... I'm off to last place. Last place, not first place. I can see the guy right in front of me. Oh, come on. There has to be a power play left. We used all of them. Is this a joke? Danger? What? No more power plays. There we go. What the? Is this a joke? There we go. And the first one got away. Got away. Oh, come on. Please. One more power play. I need one more power play. We've used them all. Shit. Shit. I can see it. Looks like regardless of what you do, you lose the first round. 100. We have a 100% warranty of losing the first round, people. All right. Let's see. Looks like this is unavoidable because that was a weird behavior. I need to ensure they don't get away. I'll trigger all of the power plays right away. Close one. I would say that the handling is extremely similar to, you know which game? To Burnout Paradise. To and the other one, Need for Speed Most Wanted. It's similar to Need for Speed Most Wanted and Burnout Paradise, if I had to say. From the aesthetics and the handling of the car. Pretty much. Alright, I think I've analyzed everything. The quality of the artificial intelligence is pretty good. It poses a good challenge, good rubber banding. The timings of the attacks feel... I'll save this one. Shit. No, I won't trigger the level 2 power play yet. I've learned my lesson. Besides, they are perfectly measured, because they had the artificial intelligence did evade a lot of stuff. So far the biggest flaw that I find in this game is replayability. The fact that the focus of the game, just like Mario Kart, just like a lot of kart racers, it's on the multiplayer, and I think that's the worst mistake as I've said, they need to. Someone needs to create a randomized, kind of like a roguelike card racer. That would be amazing. A roguelike card racer with random tracks. That would definitely be amazing. This game uses a pretty similar system as Forza. It reminds me of Forza Motorsport 2 in the sense that it always ensures that the guy who's second gets the artificial intelligence. Damn it, shit. Same story. Pretty well. At least here it wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't a coincidence, people. It wasn't a coincidence. This one definitely does a great job at ensuring that the one who's second, precisely as I was mentioning, the car in second place gets the bump of the artificial intelligence. It changes from car to car. I don't know if you've noticed, it's the same as Forza Motorsport 2. I've seen this pattern sometimes, that the rubber band changes to whoever is second. Pretty well. I think it's the most efficient system. Oh, come on, he's getting away. I think we have pretty much analyzed all of the aspects. As for the rest, as I mentioned in the first part of the series, the influence of the level design on the gameplay mechanics is amazing. It's and I love how they evade the power plays. Like that's extremely efficient. As for the rest, you have multiplayer in terms of the replayability aspect of it. But yeah, it has the same, it shares the same weakness as Mario Kart. It shares the same weakness as Mario Kart of being multiplayer focused. I think that's terrible. I think that's a terrible idea, because now I think you can still play the game online, but only because of the modding community, pretty similar to Hell Land. So the official servers are down, and the direct consequence of that is that the game dies. In the case of this one, I think it has kind of like a way of doing local, of replicating the local LAN system that it has and play it online against other players still. But because of the community, other than anything, not because of the base game that was unpredictable. This is the beauty of this game, that is unpredictable, totally unpredictable. Like Forza Motorsport 2 is the best racing game of all time, as far as I can tell, because it's predictable and the most realistic simulation racer without getting into crazy stuff like pure simulators. I think the balance of Forza Motorsport 2 is the best. But the beauty of this game is that it's totally unpredictable. It's the opposite of... It's the embodiment of what a racer, of a kart racer has to be, of what a kart racer has to be. Unpredictable. It's the embodiment of that perfection. What the? Third? They got away. The only thing that the UI is lacking is a map, a minimap over at the corner, and the speedometer. But well, they wanted to go for the epicness of having everything centered. This is positive that we mentioned in the first stream. The fact that all of the UI is centered in the main field of vision of the player. See, unpredictable at its finest. I don't think we can get the bastard in first place. Oh. We definitely need to get to that bastard, huh? Because he's... that degenerate got away at this point. Ah, there, it crashed. Thank you, shortcut. There we go. Alright, looks like there are some explosions left. Good, this is our chance. The game feels truly random, eh? It feels... It manages to achieve that behavior of randomness of the artificial intelligence that you don't get in a lot of modern games nowadays. Shit. Alright, it's only the three of us left now. Soon, only me, because they are about to explode. Double wreck. There we go. The AI manages to hit that perfect spot of randomness. That perfect spot of randomness in terms of the behavior. Like, I truly feel that, for example, in these tries that I've done, I truly felt that it was completely random to survive or not. Like, and as a direct consequence, getting first place. Like, I felt it was truly completely random, like a multiplayer match. And it's sad that this seemingly human and natural AI behavior that it's so good, it doesn't get exponentially increased by a lengthier campaign, for example. Or, as I've said, after the campaign, an endgame system. But well, then if I can... the game still doesn't have online capabilities, but I think that you can restore them to it. I'll try doing it with this version later, and then we can do one last report. We can do, before we do the final analysis, we can do something like that if I find the time. Otherwise we don't do it. I can find the time to mod it with... not mod it, to restore the online capabilities, because it's weird. This game, miraculously, it has LAN and split screen modes. Like, you can play that if you were physically here, people, you could play it with me in split screen. It has split screen and offline, which is something that a lot of racers lack today. But local LAN split screen. But fortunately, the modders found a way to extend the LAN on offline portion of the multiplayer system and use it so we can play globally like that. If I can do it, then we can see how it handles. The multiplayer portion must be epic because it pretty much solves the problem of human behavior of the artificial intelligence. But as I always say, the perfect game addresses human behavior within its bots. I know it's extremely difficult to do, but for example, I have cases, I can name you cases in which that perfect degree of perfection is achieved. For example, Unreal Tournament 3, I think the godlike bots in Unreal Tournament 3, they feel realistic. For example, modded Call of Duty games, the veteran bots they behave like they have human behavior. they use a lot of tricks like ensuring that you can access, for example, mixed behavior for the bots. And on veteran, for example, if the AI notices that the player survives a lot, deliberately attacks the player. So don't be fooled, people. Offline multiplayer against bots, it should still be taken into account, because it ensures that if the developers don't implement on offline capabilities, it's kind of like the last line of defense that makes the offline portion of the gameplay, of the replayability, of the gameplay mechanics solid enough. That one was close. I wrecked both of them. The offline portion of the replayability aspect of the gameplay mechanics much more enhanced. So yeah, pretty much. It was the first try. Even though I don't like the fact that the pilot is not physically there. I hate that in old school racing games, because by now it was already solved. I can accept it in kind of like racing games from the 90s, but not post 90s, because Gran Turismo, I think it implemented it in Gran Turismo. Hey, we already done everything? Ah, no, the timed races. Alright. And the Elite race there. Why don't we have the Boneyard Rush Elite race here? Alright. Alright, let's do the Detonator then. This is a pretty good car, so... Remember, people, Detonators take some time, so... Looks like we won't be able to play Sacred 2, huh? After this. Looks like it's gonna... The game has one last... It's a solid 12 hours. Solid 12 hours on the hardest difficulty. Solid 12 hours. I thought I could finish it earlier, but no. It's a solid 12 hours, huh? Like, pretty exact, if you ask me. Pretty exact. Oh well. Talking about the influence of the graphical effects on the gameplay mechanics, I couldn't see shit when I crashed there. When I crashed into that wall. Alright, let's try that again. Let's try that again. Pretty much. That was pretty good. I didn't know you could evade that trap like that. This was a terrible... That was terrible drifting on my part there. What the? Oh. Terrible drifting. There we go. Yeah, remember, this is the fast car that is similar to the Corvette Civer, but with a bit of a worse drifting system. Okay. See? We cannot see. I love that. I love that tire. Kind of like there, just in case the player survived, to kill him. Alright, but the car is decent. It's not what I would pick, but it's decent. So, for example, here. Don't drift, don't drift. This car is not... It's the one that you had to master the drifts 100%, yeah. More like surviving the weird behavior of the drifting. We're in trouble. Now we're in trouble. That's a huge difference for my taste. Yeah, I don't have to crash at the beginning. Those crashes at the beginning made the difference. Come on, people. We can finish this today. We can do it. You need to master that heavy drift. I need to master that heavy drifting. like this. Stupid. I always have a problem with this turn. I always have a problem with that turn. Pretty much. Alright, we'll see. I feel a bit skeptical because the... I wasn't expecting that. I feel a bit skeptical because if you miss any of the... If you miss any of the turns and you bump into them, it's even more difficult. It's even more difficult. It is pretty much impossible. Pretty much impossible. Alright. Convention Center. Convention Center. That's even better. That's even better, if you ask me. That's what I'm talking about, except for that last section. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. There we go. Sorry. Sorry, people. Sorry. I wanted to see what the person had to tell me for a sec there. It was just it was just a stupid message. Well, there I prevented drifting. Yeah, getting the hang of the drifting of this car, it's tricky to say the least. Look at that, I'm pretty much doing a straight line. There, could it be? 37, I think I made it. I think I made it. Pretty good. Yeah, avoiding the drifting gives you a bit of an edge that you can use. Pretty much. Okay, good. First place. Good. Alright, people, and with this I think we can get to the final analysis of the split second, huh? We have pretty much analyzed the gameplay mechanics, the level design, the soundtrack, the influence of the different elements, and their integration. I think we're pretty much good to go, huh? I think we're pretty much good to go. I've already analyzed the handling of the car, the track design is amazing, and the influence and how it integrates within the gameplay mechanics. I think it pretty much solves a lot of issues. The high degree of efficiency in terms of the integration of the level design and the gameplay mechanics. Pretty much. So, look at that soundtrack. The conundrum of the soundtrack. The conundrum there. The fact that it progressively unlocks instead of just being faster adds a lot of abstract complexity to the gameplay, to the design by the developers. Yeah, definitely I would say that the drifting of this car is the best handling I've seen so far. Like, 100%. What? That was weird. Good one. Shit. I had no idea it would. I had to do a blind pick between left and right there. Well, they are getting aggressive, that's for sure. Maybe we can go with the power plant. They're definitely getting more aggressive. Once we get to the power plant, maybe I can trigger a level 2 power play. Ah, there is no level 2 power play. Interesting. I can see why I ended up second last time. Huh. Pretty good, look at that. He took a... Oh shit, there's a level 2 power play. He took advantage of my shortcut. Pretty well designed. That's not that easy to do with the artificial intelligence, huh? That's what I call drift. Looks like the first one got away. At least we have the epic soundtrack to enjoy it. That one exploded right away. Did I get it? Did I get that guy? No. 5 seconds. 4.9. Oh, come on. Give me some power plays. Give me some power plays. We just need 1 or 2 more power plays and we can do it. That's a good drift. We're running out of time, people. And the power plays. Now I see the problem. This track is severely lacking power plays, huh? During the second lap, look at that, and that's the ending. It's lacking. It's so low in its count of power plays that, honestly, that's terrible. Look at this, since this only has 2 laps, we start with the intermediate version of the soundtrack. Have you noticed? That's some crazy surgical control over the soundtrack. It tells you how much care the developers had with the soundtrack. That Vixen is getting away. Come on. I'm getting close. You are not getting away again. You didn't. There we go. So this race has that difference. Well, now they're going to trigger all of those explosions. Yeah, that warehouse is pretty much the... I'll have to risk this one. Because here they have 2 power plays. No, but yeah. Wow, well done. Well, now it's working in my favor, the lack of power plays that they have. Thank you. Here goes. That was close. Was way too risky. There you could see the tire of the one behind me exploding. We are making it, people. Yeah, amazing drifting mechanics. Definitely this car has the best handling out of all of the game. It doesn't feel heavy, it's easy to trigger the drifting, but you still retain a lot of control over it. Definitely I made the right choice when I picked the Corvetti Civeres. Now experts of the game that play the multiplayer still might tell me, no. That's because you are not playing against real players, Eraser. That's the difference. You're not playing against real players. That's the difference. Like, if you would play against real players, that would be a huge difference. Well, it might be, but in my experience, most of the time, if the bots are good, they can translate pretty good to real plays. Like when I played a lot of offline MOBAs before getting into ranked Heroes of the Storm, then I realized that I was much more efficient. And it's not just experience of playing previous MOBAs. I remember there was this particular match in which I played as if it was PvE, like player versus environment. Like, I didn't join team fights at all because the level design had a lot of mercenary camps, and pretty much I won that match alone, and I got so much flack for that. But it was the only way because they were better. The enemy team was better at enemy fights, but I could overwhelm them with the level design objective of it. It was a legendary match. Sadly, I think I didn't record it. Alright, people, this is it. Final episode, only 3 hours. The final episode of a split second, the final 3 races. We have this beast here, that timed race. 1 elimination. And then the final elite race. Out with a bang. Alright, if we don't get to the 4th hour before we finish, we can do Sacred 2, as I said. It's not enough for the analysis, because the analysis generally takes me 1 hour, 4 hours, and I have only 1 hour, some 2 hours left maximum, so we can compensate the one that we'll do 5 hours today probably. So I think it's not enough as to get to the final analysis of a split second, but shit. Damn, this course. Is an elimination or... No, it's just a normal race, it's not an elimination. So we'll leave the final analysis for next time. And we can compensate the hour that we didn't do on Tuesday when I got lost in thought when discussing the British Empire the other day. Pretty amazing. I promise, people, I'll try to refrain from talking all of those boring topics for you. But it's amazing. It's the history of humanity, people. You're gonna tell me that they are boring topics. Besides the metaphysical analysis, it's the history of humanity. It's beautiful. Like, I bet you didn't expect me saying that I wish the Falklands would have been colonized by the British the other day. Like, it's the surprise of human history. And I'll show you a VOD. A video. If the opportunity ever arises again to discuss the topic, I'll show you a video, and I bet you'll see my point after that video. That would be quite interesting. I'll show you. I'll tell you. Choose, huh? The British colonization, or what I'm about to show you, and you'll get my point. I was way too slow the other day. I wasn't thinking about it. I have a perfect reference that will make a lot of sense for you guys. You'll laugh as well, and I can show you it once I show it to you. You'll see, maybe the crazy scholastic philosopher was... At least he had logical reasons as to say that. Like I do with all of the topics. I'll prove it to you. I'll give you a choice, like in a role-playing game. And you'll see my point entirely. You'll say, well, Now I get it. Now I get it why he said that. For example. That's like with many other things. A single second... Damn it, that edge was quite tricky. It's quite tricky. A single second of an image speaks louder than 1,000 words. Oh. How am I supposed to get through that? Well, at least we are moving them as we crash into them. But the one, the leader of the pack, the one who's in first place, probably got away a million times. I know he's over there. We all crashed. Thank you. Huh? He's still alive? Damn it. Now I see the problem that I must have had at the beginning of this stream. No, people, I don't remember. When you are playing, then maybe you remember, but when you are playing, in the moment, when you are absorbing so much gameplay, you can hardly remember what you did some minutes ago. Ah, damn it. The rubber band is kicking in. I better build up my... Alright, someone did that for me, thank you. I better build up my power meter. It's also amazing the integration of the economic system in the gameplay mechanics because... No, you don't. That one was... Not a single second of peace in this game. Look at that, he tried to drift past me through the right. Like, that was a bold final move. That was a bold final move. Look at that. Good. This is it, people. Our performance, I have clearly mastered. I have clearly mastered the gameplay mechanics of the game by now. At least with the Corvette Civeres. Now, get ready. This Ryback Firestorm is the worst car I've ever used. In this game. I remember this race that it took me several weeks to finish it. While I was in the equivalent of high school, secondary school in this case. In our case, it took me several weeks, so let's hope it takes me less than an hour. Yep, not like that. Not like that. The handling of this car, you cannot imagine it. Eh? It's like handling a rock. It's like the final test of mastering the handling of the cars in this game. Like it feels like a tank. It doesn't drift, it doesn't, and when it drifts, it's impossible to control. Not to mention the insane amount of shit going on around us. Alright, it doesn't drift at all. It doesn't drift at all. It's better to ignore drifting as a mechanic. I hope that is addressed in terms of the timing. Yeah, it's better to do this to avoid drifting altogether. Pretty much. Shit. It doesn't turn, this shit doesn't turn. It's like a tank. And when it does that. Kind of like... I think I've handled Call of Duty tanks more efficient than this shit. Ah, so close. Oof, that was really close for my second try. And my first complete try. Oof, so close. Get 60 more crates to win the Ryback Firestorm, this shit. Yep, not gonna happen. Look at that. 32. Only 32 fractions of a second. Only 32 milliseconds. Like, that can be, I don't know, a single second of a turn in which you don't, in which you drift way too much or you hit the brakes a bit more than needed. Or the drafting of the explosions that, well, please. There we go. Perfectly compensated. I think that'll make the difference. That'll make the difference. Shit, no. Stupid car. Stupid edge. That stupid edge. That you are laughing right now, but people, but those milliseconds could be the difference. It's better to just slam the car when the turn is way too. It's way too close. Like this. Come on, stop drifting. 26. Let's do it. There we go. This took me weeks back when I was a child. But well, a child, I was a teenager. And I didn't have much time to practice. I had to. Not like I have it now. Not like I have it now. But well, I have a better mastery. I guess we have better control over our fingers, people. Alright, as predicted, I did a perfect measurement. 3 hours and we're pretty much at the end. I won't talk here, people. This is the final race of a split second. The legendary finale. The legendary final elite race. I'll let you enjoy the soundtrack. If you're watching this as a YouTube bot, always thanks to all of the followers of the channel before doing it. We'll use the Corvetti Civeres. The Civeres. I want to be loyal to the car that has taken me through all of this game, and we'll do the analysis probably next time. Or, well, yeah, we can do it next time because I want to compensate that last hour of Sacred 2. I really want to do so. So, as always, thanks to followers of the Twitch channel. If you're watching this as a YouTube bot, special thanks. Crowbar the other day, Ike, Scarlet Dragoon, all of you guys. Junior Tech, of course, all of you that you drop by the stream and visit me, Picaren, of course, Olympus, that you drop by the stream and visit me frequently with our legendary reviews. So I'll just let you enjoy especially I would suggest you to enjoy the soundtrack, and we get into the final ending elite race of a split second. Get ready. I think it's 3 laps, I believe. The final race of the split second season championship. Only the elite drivers stand between you and victory. This will be your toughest race yet. Yes. Let's do it, people. Let's do it. Episode 12, this is the ending. Season finale. The explosions are bigger. I'll let you enjoy it. The ending. 3 laps. So beautiful. I love it how it's the first course. The initial one. That's some rubber band, eh? Uh-huh. Into it we go. Let's build up that drifting. I know, we're at maximum. Well, look at that. That rubber band is brutal. They appeared out of nowhere. Alright, here we go. Final lap. I think they got crazy here in this final lap because the second one was... they weren't right behind me like that. Well, we definitely mastered the game by now. Oh, come on, it's gonna be a first try. It's gonna be a first try. It was going to be a first try. Alright. Damn it. Shit. Let's see if we can make a comeback. Oh yeah, we're first. Look at that. Yeah, we had kind of like 3 levels of power play accumulated. I definitely pays off. This is it, people. This is it. First try. Yeah. Well, I guess we mastered the game definitely by now. I think there you have the perfect example that the difficulty curve of the game could be even higher, but I think it was first try. But well, we practiced a lot. We got all gold. That's why we could do first try. The Ryback Firestorm got that, man. Are there more cars that you can get after you? Hey, what's that? Elite GT12. What's the point of that car? It's for multiplayer or what? Look at that, people. First try, easy. Too cool for school. No, you can never be too cool for school, people. Well, I just love that phrase from Orcs Must Die. First try. First place. Yes. Hey, look at that. Well, get ready. There's one last thing that you need to see.
Great season, crew. It's a wrap. Wait a minute. Hey, how are those power plays getting set off? We deactivated them after the final race. Who are these guys? Son of a... Can't be! Not after all this time. No, they went off air in 82.
The whole city explodes.
This ain't good. Clear the set! Now! Get out of there, I'm telling you!
That's the beginning of the cliffhanger of the second season, which was a split second too. Is the cliffhanger the sad moment in which Split Second 2 got cancelled? Oh, so sad, so sad. You can actually see the prototype online, but it was never finished. So, curse you Disney, I guess. Curse you Disney. That's the ending. And in terms of the analysis of the game, we'll get to it. We'll get to it once we next week. We can do it next week alongside the Ultimate PS Vita showcase, because I think I'll have a lot of time left. And we can do it alongside the Ultimate PS Vita showcase or something like that, or next time. So yeah, it's been 3 hours and a half, and we streamed way too little on Tuesday, so let's finish the last portion of Sacred 2, shall we? I bet we can finish the last portion of Sacred 2 in this last hour. In 1 hour and a half? Would be 5. Yeah, an hour and a half more. Yeah. It's way too little for a final analysis, but enough to progress through Sacred 2. Pretty well done, pretty done. Akbar. Now that's a pretty good surname there. Like Admiral Akbar from Star Wars. I didn't know it was a real surname. Look at that. Well, all in all, Split Second, it's a unique case. It's a unique case precisely because of what I mentioned at the beginning of the series, that the level design, hazardous environments are fused with the weaponry system of the game. Like, instead of having physical weapons alongside the course, we can. Those are fused together, and pretty much they're the main element that makes this game distinct and unique, because at the end of the day, in the rest of all of the kart racers, the weaponry system is kind of like physically deployed through the course, through the track, throughout the course. So pretty much the fact that you can activate the power play mechanic is what makes this game unique, and also the very reason why I would highly recommend you to at least play this game once in your life if you haven't already. It's a great experience. The epicness of it, if you lived it back in the day, you'll understand me. Crowbar, for example, did. But even so, If you didn't, I highly recommend you do it so you can feel the incredible control that the player has in this proportion that I mentioned in the first part of the series. That the pure racing mechanics perfectly integrate with the weaponry system, of the game. Because pretty much that's what sets it apart. The fact that you use the pure racing mechanics of the game to influence an economic system, which is the power play meter bar, and through it you get access to the weaponry system of the game. In memory of our friend Marek Romanowski, 1979-2009. Always pay respect to those great men that generally there's a lot of cases of developed games that have that. For example, I believe the Legend of Grimlock is the same. So always pay respect to them, and we always appreciate those. Well, the rest of the things, people. There are some things that we might still have to explore. I think I showed you the canyon, the quarry. Yeah, I think I didn't show you the quarry. I did it off stream, I believe. Let's do the quarry, because that's the DLC race. While I look at that perfect drifting. Yeah, not in your... Look at it. You get a perfect car. The Elite GT12. This is the perfect car that I was mentioning. I want to finally test it. Let's do one last lap on the DLC. You can only get access to this course if you get the Civer edition that I have been mentioning, the modded version. So let's get to the modded track with the best car. I want to at least just drive the car once. So it has perfect acceleration and perfect speed. So it's the one that we've been seeing. Alright, there was a seemingly perfect car. Alright, let's do it. I want to do one last victory lap. Even if we lose, doesn't matter. This is the quarry. This is the DLC that you can only get access to through the Civer edition. So let's do our victory lap here. Oh well, this car is perfect, huh? It's kind of like an improved version of the Corvette Severus. It's still on hard difficulty, huh? So pretty good. Enjoy the quarry, people. Enjoy the quarry, because this game, it's absolutely amazing. We'll get to the final analysis. Next time. We can do it after the... Yeah, well, maybe we can do it on Tuesday. I do the final analysis and I keep playing Sacred 2. And then be sure to stay tuned, because we have... Once we finish the final analysis of a split second, we'll get to the next game for analysis that I have for all of you. Though I wanted to finish Sacred 2 before getting to the next big RPG. So maybe a game from other genre. I have an idea of something that I have been wanting to show you for quite some time. Since oh, that guy really got it away. Yeah, it's definitely the perfect car, huh? What the? That crash was weird. This is definitely going south for my victory lap. Oh, good. Ah, the greed of Disney, taking this race out of the main base game. You can see how dangerous it is. Absolutely disgusting, because I know it wasn't BlackRock Studios. it was Disney. Pretty much the publisher decides those things. Hey, look at that. They probably wanted to ban fracking, like the debate that there's right now in the US there when I triggered that explosion. By the way, people, I highly suggest my 2 cents that be careful. Be aware of anyone who says to ban fracking in your country. That's pretty much like a kind of like a death sentence to all of your life, because that's the main source of income for a lot of them. Always be aware of that. Let's ban fracking, the environment needs us. Let's ban fracking. Yeah, and then we lose a million jobs. And not only that, we exacerbate the hypocrisy of having a lot of Eastern countries like India and China with a lot of with much more activity that damages the environment, and then they complain to us. It's curious. It's curious, the double standard. Oh damn it! What's this? Ah. He definitely got away, huh? This is the most difficult track ever. Let's restart this a bit. Let's restart it. I want to win in the quarry. I want to come out first in the quarry before we begin with Sacred 2. Yeah, I pretty much measured. I calculated that we were going to finish way too early today, so that's why I knew that we will do a dual stream. I have done them sometimes when the game is when I was pretty much finishing the game. I've done them in the past. That's why I wanted to start earlier today. So a bit of a there we go. Bit of a dual streaming. Damn it! Oof, that was close. It dropped right behind me. This car is definitely the best. Alright, so they had an all-powerful car that you, in multiplayer, you pretty much need to use this guy, or you would be at a huge disadvantage. Please don't explode. That was an uncomfortably long transition. So just as a recap, you can only access this through the Civer edition, as I've said. Besides all of the DLC cars and everything, it's called the Quarry, this extra track. But sadly, you don't have access to the onslaught mode of the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions. The modder couldn't do it, but at least you get 60 FPS and the correct physics with the PC version. So all in all, I would say the PC version is the best now. I would say it's the best now because of the 60 FPS, but I would suggest you also get the Xbox 360 version of it with the Quarry DLC and the Onslaught DLC more than anything, because it's another mode. It's kind of like a race combined with Helicopter Revenge. Don't worry about this, it's normal. The physics of this track have that problem. It was not meant to be here after all, people. This car has godlike drifting. Look at that. Damn it, now you have to be kidding me. Anyways, it's lap 2 out of 3. Oh well. Yeah, this is definitely the most difficult course, the most difficult track. Oh, look at those physics. Look at that. We're getting into the edge cases with this track. What the? He got away? Someone else got away. Oh, you have to be kidding me. Please tell me you killed that guy. Third place, yeah. Third, second, and first, yeah, pretty much. No, fourth. Damn it. No, he got away again. Shit. That was way too much. Oh, wow. Alright, looks like this is the... I've unlocked the extra secret level. They are not dying, my god. God damn it. The one who took first place really got away. God damn it. I wasn't counting on this, but well. I wasn't counting on this. What the... What's with those two? Unreachable. Both of them. Pretty much unreachable, far as I can tell. I'm not finishing the gameplay without beating this. Consider it the extra secret level. Oh wow. And besides, I want to see if you can still get credits after this. To unlock more cars. It should be the ending, but you shouldn't get any more cars. Like, if you don't use this car, you are at a huge disadvantage, as far as I can tell, in multiplayer. I don't have time for instant replays. I need to ensure that no matter. I'd rather have this than a crash. Thank you. Ooh. Pretty difficult to avoid that. God damn it, so there was an even harder course than the canyon. Kind of like this is the exclusive Quarry DLC course that we didn't get in the PC version originally. And it's certainly more difficult. It's kind of like take it as a secret level that we're doing after finishing the analysis, people. After finishing, well, the analysis, we still have to do the final analysis. But after finishing the gameplay portion of the analysis. Take it as an extra secret level that you won't find anywhere else, because you need to have the modded Civer edition that I have been recommending to you so much. Besides, I wanted to try out the car that you get for finishing the game, the reward car. So it did have kind of like a perfect car, like in Scars, once you finish the game. I'll leave that one, the route change. I'll reserve it. I'll reserve it in case they once again they get ahead and then try to get away. This will be our last race, then we'll get to the final analysis. But this will be our last race with the game, so enjoy it, people, because it's something that so far hasn't been showcased in the unmodded PC version. Oof, that one was close. And I can definitely attest for the difficulty. You could see that I beat the final elite race of the game first try, and this one is quite tricky, because you run out of power plays. You run out of power plays, and there we go. And not only that, it's kind of like a more. It encourages the predominance of the first position. Like, it's much more difficult to make a comeback because of precisely the lack of power plays and those. Let's trigger it now. Anyways, it's the last one, last lap. Shit. It's definitely the greatest, the most difficult course. But well, if I hadn't triggered it, they could have done so. It was safe. It was apparently safer to do it first. To first do it ourselves. Come on, come on, come on. Maybe we can do it. Huh? I need to ensure that that one doesn't get away. Otherwise it will be the same as last time. 2 seconds. To get to him. There we go. Yes! Ooh, careful, you can... Ah, damn it, unavoidable. Pretty much unavoidable. Alright, look at that. We're still a second ahead. Or not. We're still a second ahead. Well, not a second ahead, but we're still ahead. Look at that. Those were pretty much unavoidable. Come on. No. Yes, people. Yes, finally. And with that, we have finally achieved 100% completion. All gold races on hard difficulty. Finally, after 3 sessions, people. Alright. Finally, 100% completion achieved. Oof, look at that. 4, 27, 76, and 87. Look at that. Alright, people, and with that, we conclude our journey through Split Second. We will get to the final analysis next time. We'll get to the final analysis next time, but it's been 3 hours and 40 minutes. While I want to compensate, there you can see difficulty hard. Let's see the timing there. 4:27, 76, and I crashed sometimes. So as you can see, we have achieved 100% completion today. Hard mode, all races, gold. As I've said, as part of the analysis, the main flaw that I would highlight is the lack of replayability, which is pretty much the same element that I comment, that I consider when analyzing Mario Kart or Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed, people. The lack of offline replayability once you finish the championship, the main campaign of the game. But pretty much, pretty much the the second aspect of it is that at least Mario Kart has kind of like those championship modes. Those championship modes, you can create your own championship in a split second. After finishing the main campaign, you can do quick race offline, just so you have a reference. You can do split screen offline LAN, and then fortunately modders have restored online capabilities to the game. I don't have it implemented for this version that you saw in these 3 days, people, due to the fact that basically I wanted to analyze the main core gameplay mechanics offline. But just so you know, get the Civer edition, as I've been mentioning. You'll get the 60 FPS, proper physics and hitboxes, and you will be able to get online play, because the modders were able to replicate the offline LAN functionality of a split screen with they combined it with the original online capabilities, so you can still play online. I've seen it. So far we've finished the analysis. We'll get to the final analysis next time. But well, for today, this is it for Split Second.